I forgot to mention that.
Thank you so much.
But despite the rightward shift, Europe's center is still holding.
There remains a majority.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good. All major leftist parties signed a coalition named Union Populaire to counter Macron and the right now. Yeah, we'll see how that happens. Last time it fucking failed spectacularly because all the smaller left parties literally fucking went neoliberal and cooked. I'm forgetting his name now. He's older. He's done. Mélenchon, right? Yeah. If you want to know the detail of what happened, Macron is calling for an election in order to kill the radical left by either forcing it to downgrade its proposition by forming an alliance with the left moderate, deadly in the long run, possibly cutting some of the more popular figures like Obono, one of the most anti-racist, or Fondeur Mélenchon, or to not get any opposition by going divided in the election. In Macron's defense, the literal same thing happened with Sanchez party, with Sanchez in Spain. He lost hard to Vox and PP in the local elections and immediately called for elections while he was down and ended up winning. This could be the same 5D chess, though I don't know. I can see it happening here. Anyway, here's our wonderful foreign minister had to say about Spain. Yeah, except such a funny thing because these guys are like straight up defending Nazis, which is pretty funny. Zionism, literally Nazi shit. But for Sanchez, the key difference is that he is significantly more to the left and has a base of popular support in Spain, whereas Macron is a neoliberal who has increasingly become more and more right-wing in his foreign policy, in his domestic policy, and therefore has basically lost any, like, everyone is now defensively voting for Macron. Anyone that votes for Macron is defensively voting because they're like, well, that's a literal fucking Nazi. I don't know what to do here. He is incredibly unpopular. That's the difference. First poll after Macron called for a snap election, huge gains for Le Pen's party and losses for Macron's party. Le Pen is not a Nazi. That's insane. You're fucking joking, right? Le Pen is not extreme right anymore. Are you fucking insane? Her retriangulating specifically to come across more. Oh my God. Also, this is pretty funny. Le Pen is not extreme right anymore. Yeah, what Le Pen is doing is a classic bargain. Nazis pretend to be center right to gain more votes, then turn right, or neoliberal. Same thing. I said this earlier. They become center, i.e. more moderate to get more votes, and turn full Nazi. She absolutely is just trying to retriangulate to beef up her chances of winning the election. Is France's National Front still fascist? So Jean-Marie Le Pen was literally a fucking Nazi, like a out and about Nazi.
Front National is once again in the final round of the presidential election.
What do you guys think Front National stands for? Like the national part of that. What do you guys think that stands for, by the way?
But this is the new Front National, not the one co-founded by a French member of the SS, and definitely not the one whose leader says the gas chambers are a detail of history. This is Marine Le Pen's party.
By the way, the leader, Jean-Marie Le Pen, fined again for dismissing Holocaust as detail. Wait, hold on. Is that leader standing next to the current leader? Wait, why are they standing next to one another? They kind of look the same, too. What's up? What's up with that? Oh, wait, what? Why do they have the same last name? Oh, you mean to tell me she's the daughter of the... Okay, all right. Well, I mean, come on, sins of the father and all that.
And then there's the dozens of FN candidates that have been spewing racist abuse online. Take Gérard Brazon, who says Islamophobia is a right and fighting Islam is a duty. Or Jean-Christophe Gruot, who called immigration a cancer and denounced the Africanization of his city.
That's so weird how that works. This video is outdated. I know, it's 7 years old. This was when they were definitely more aggro. This was when the rebranding was being tried, being attempted, and failing. But I guess 7 years after the rebranding attempt, it seems like some chatters have fucking eaten the bait. It's just like, I don't get it. Like, why would the National Front party, comprised of straight Nazi collaborators, founded by Nazi collaborators, that still upholds a lot of the same fascist principles, that still calls the fucking National Front, what leads you to believe that they've actually changed? Speaking of Germany, why is there such a negative reaction from some about AfD? They keep saying far right, but the policies of AfD that I've read about don't sound extremist. Maybe I'm missing something. Why is AfD? AfD Alternative für Deutschland is basically a Nazi party within the confines of a country where it's illegal to be a Nazi openly. Here are some of the many comments from AfD people. The big problem is that Hitler is portrayed as an absolute evil, says Björn Höcke from the AfD. burning refugee homes are not an act of aggression, says Sandra Herschel from the AFD. We do not differ from the NPD in terms of content, says Dubravko Mandic. It's just rebranded. They have to rebrand. That's why, because like they can't fly the swastika because it's still illegal in Germany. So they'll fly like the Wehrmacht flag. Here's one of their ads. By the way, this is AF Post, America First Post. Beckmann wählen für eine Landeshauptstadt, auf die man stolz sein kann. Stolzmonat. Homosexuals in prison. We should do that in Germany as well. Andreas Gellman, AFD. I would not condemn anyone who sets fire to an inhabited asylum home. Marcel Grauf. A to Dr. Christina Baum, AFD. Und Heine Möst, AFD. Of course, this dude found the most racist way to describe AFD. AFD leaders have called for the criminalization of homosexuality, the banning of offensive literature like the books of Salman Rushdie, use Nazi slogans, claim Poland started World War II and more. They are not just anti-immigration party. They're the white Sharia party. The white Sharia party? Like, what do you mean white Sharia party? I don't know why. Like, Germans are so funny, bro. They're like, yeah, the type of extremist that you see here is just like a Muslim. It's like so funny. It's like, no, man, it's exactly the type of racism that Germany was very famous at. You don't have to point to Muslims in that situation. That's very weird. Björn Höcke literally used to write under the pseudonym Landolf Ladig for the neo-Nazi NPD. You may have covered the secret hotel meetings a few months back with out and about blood and soil Nazis and multimillionaires where they conspired to expel millions of immigrants, including some naturalized Germans from Germany. Yes. I can't remember if that was the first or the second plot, because there was two different plots that were uncovered. There was one plot that was uncovered that was like a laughable monarchist, and the other plot was Germany's pretty bad problem with their own version of Atomwaffen. Atomwaffen, for those of you who don't know, is a Nazi group that specifically operates within the U.S. armed forces. They regularly get caught trying to like blow up shit, like purchasing explosives from a federal agent because they want to go and blow up a power line or whatever. Germany had a massive problem in their special forces with like actual fucking Nazis within their special forces. They had to disband an entire unit, that was straight up Nazis. A politician with the Swedish Democrats, the fascist Nazi party, was recorded at a EU election party being drunk and singing Ausländer raus, foreigners out. He then realized that he sang it right in the microphone of a reporter, tried to wrestle the microphone from the reporter, then ran away from the event with the journalist chasing him. That's hilarious, bro. What the fuck? Racist song at SD's election vigil attacks the reporter. Riksdag member David Lang sang Ausländer raus during SD's election vigil, a song that has spread in far-right circles. When he notices the Expressen's reporter is recording the sound, he tries to take the mobile phone. Oh shit, are you recording this? Shortly thereafter, David Lang leaves the vigil. Wonderful stuff happening in the world, baby. We're going to watch a Financial Times video about how the right is surging in Europe. This is from 2 weeks ago. I suspect they will say it has nothing to do with neoliberalism, since it's the Financial Times.
And identity public opinion in France and across much of Europe has hardened against immigration in the past decade. You can maybe date that to the 2015 refugee crisis from the Syrian war. The traditional parties are shifting in response to what they can see as the shifting sands politically around them.
We have listened, we have acted, and we have delivered on one of the main concerns of people across Europe.
Politicians read the polls and they open their mailbags and their emails. They thought, we need to have a policy to address this. We need something in the elections to go to the voters and say, we're dealing with this. They're basically trying to fight the far right by moving onto their territory to some extent, a modest piece of their territory.
The main contrast you can draw is between Giorgia Meloni in Italy and Marine Le Pen in France. They're both far right on paper, but Meloni is obviously now in power at the top of a coalition.
She has played the game, to many people's surprise.
Why is that surprising? It's because, as Yanis Varoufakis mentioned, neoliberalism and fascists are on the same side.
The two sides, the radical center and the radical ultra-fascistic xenophobic right, in my view, they are two different faces of the same coin. Take Le Pen and Macron. Macron would not be president without Le Pen. He was always a minority party, a minority force. He weaponized the fear, the common fear of the fascists of Le Pen in order to elevate himself to the Élysée Palace. But at the very same time, Le Pen would not be running at 32, 33, 35, 36%.